Hey guys,
Veronica,
Andrew,
and Nate here. We are
Foodies Watching Movies,
a podcast dedicated to
awesome movies,
great food,
and that's about it.
Check us out on the JIC network at www.journeyintocomics.com.
Maybe throw some money over to our Patreon.
So we can eat this week.
And now, your feature presentation.
The following is a Journey into Comics network production.
Hey, this is Josh Richmond, and you are listening to the Voice of Survival podcast, exclusively on the Journey into Comics network.
You're listening to the Voice of Survival podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nate Phillips.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Voice of Survival podcast. As the introduction said, I am your host, Nate. And today I have an awesome guest joining me to go back to the moment that I met this person. I'm trying to think how that went down. And I'm pretty sure that very much like my guest on episode 7 of The Voice of Survival, although that wasn't the first time I met him. For you, episode 12 guest, we're going to hold this off for a second. We met at my first show back in the music scene and my first show as a drummer, actually. When Walk Among Us played and opened for the Ataris, as did Belladonna. So my guest at this time, Jerry Jacinto, welcome.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Awesome. I'm very happy to have you here today. You've been definitely a more prominent fixture in my life now that I've been in the music scene. I feel like in certain moments that stick out in my head that are like very, very important moments in my musical progression, you seem to have some part in taking into, you know? Like my first show, I was just talking about it. And was that your guys' first? That wasn't your first show, was it?
It was actually our first show as that phase of Belladonna's lineup.
Okay, and that was, you guys were like, what, a 6-piece at that point?
5. It was me, Austin,
Yeah.
bass, Brett drums, Nick Blackstone guitar, and then Neil Gaynor keyboards.
And then yourself.
Yeah.
Which would make 6, right?
Is that it? Wait.
Yeah, right?
Really?
Austin, Nick,
Brett,
Austin.
Neil, and then me. Wow.
How's that work?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Math is weird. We probably just fucked that up somehow.
Yeah.
But I digress. Anyways, the Voice of Survival, as I was telling you off air, is 100% about the person that I have on my show. And today that's you. And I want to know your story. I want to know your history, your background. Where did you grow up? You know, what are some prominent things that happened in your childhood that, you know, kind of shaped you? And really, I'm just going to let you kind of start off wherever you want. So is there a moment in your early childhood that you can recall that makes you cling to music? Is there a certain point that you were just like, this is for me?
I don't know if I knew that it was for me.
Okay.
I definitely knew that it was very fun.
All right.
My earliest memory, I was about, I'd say like 4 or 5 or
Okay, sure.
6, somewhere around there. I was, little.
Sure, yeah.
And I would always watch Grease with my mom.
Awesome.
And
Yeah,
Danny
John Travolta.
Zuko is just like the coolest guy
Yeah.
ever. So
Oh, that's awesome. You were all about Danny
so I would
Zuko.
always, like, when we'd watch the movie, I'd get up during like every song and I'd like sing and dance.
Oh my gosh, that's
And
amazing.
then, so it was a lot of fun.
So you were really shaped by the musical world. Is Grease one of the only musicals you really get down on, or is that something you kind of have still held on to, you know, throughout your life?
There's a lot of good musicals, but Grease, I don't know, Grease was just so cool to me.
Yeah.
And
it's a
there's
good
that
story.
opening track too.
Absolutely. I mean, The movie is a classic. Did you like Grease too? Did you see
I've
Grease
never
too?
even seen it.
Okay.
I've heard it wasn't good, so I was like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
even
you
try.
should definitely probably avoid that one. Some people would argue it's amazing, but I digress. So you are young and you're watching this with your mom. Were there any musical artists on the other side of the tracks that weren't, let's say, like I said, in the musical setting, that drew you in as well? Because I feel like you have a very broad array of influence when it comes to how you create music.
At that age, nothing I really listen. I wouldn't like listen to music like in my room
Okay.
or anything.
Okay.
It was just music, and I never really was like, I don't know, listening to a certain artist or like no one in my family, where there's no musicians in my family, so no one's like, listen to this. Well, there was like other moments, like dancing around with my cousins, listening to Metallica.
Awesome.
When I was like 5.
Hell yeah, I love Metallica.
So, there's that. I have great memories like that. But it wasn't until I was like 14 that I picked up on an artist and really just like listened to all their songs, obsessed over them.
Okay, who
wanted
was
to
it?
be like them. It was Blink-182.
Oh, that's awesome.
Blink-182.
Here's a really interesting story we can connect with on this. This is what I love about this process. When I first started playing music was bass. It was my first instrument I picked up. I was 14. So very similar to you. Of course, that's in a different timeline of things, obviously. So the first album I learned front to back, Blink-182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Yeah.
All the way through. I love that album so much. It's quite possibly still to this day one of my favorite albums. So I definitely connect with how awesome Blink was. But at that point, I'm guessing their like self-titled had come out by then.
Yeah.
They were a little bit in the twilight of their careers, probably.
When I started listening to them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that was actually right after their album Neighborhoods came out, I think.
Okay.
And I don't know, I just feel like the way I saw life at the time, I guess I really just like looked up to that music.
You connected
But
with
I wasn't playing guitar yet until like freshman year.
Okay, so you're
second
closer
half,
to
spring,
15.
Spring freshman year, yeah.
Sure. Now, were you at a buddy's house or something and picked up a guitar randomly, or?
No, I was I was getting into more music.
Okay.
Because I also met Brett at this point, and he is someone that introduced me to a lot of music.
Awesome.
So I'm listening to cooler stuff and this more.
You're just absorbing everything Brett's throwing at you.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh, yes, show me more, please.
Right,
you felt
right.
so depraved. I went through that same process, totally.
And then at that time, I was playing through Guitar Hero on hard, and I was just like, you know what? I feel like it'd be really cool if I can do this in real life.
Yes,
So-
amazing. I love Guitar Hero.
It's
There's
so fun.
There's behind you. You can't see it right now. I'll show you after the show. There's a Guitar Hero trophy hanging on our wall. Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't win it. Sarah won it.
Oh, wow.
She's amazing. Well, that's a whole different level of what the hell. I met her and she's like, oh, I can beat all these songs on Expert and get some 100%. And I was like, no, you can't. And then I'd witness it and I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was good on hard mode. Like, this is ridiculous. Get out of here. And I actually played guitar, so that was kind of hilarious too.
Yeah.
So you take the next step. You're like, fuck it. I'm going to play guitar.
Yeah.
Did you go out and get a guitar? Did you ask your parents to get you a guitar?
I had a guitar from maybe 3 years before.
Oh, okay.
My mom got it for me, and it was just like a little mini guitar.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was in the closet. So I was like, all right, I'm going to try to play guitar now. And this guy from school was like, hey, if you pay me $20 a week, I'll give you a lesson for an hour each week. So I'm like, okay. Doesn't really, I don't know. He taught me a little bit, but nothing compared to like
where you are now and
Yeah,
what you've
yeah.
actually learned through experience and trial and tribulation. And obviously
Yeah.
playing with other musicians shapes you as well.
Right.
So you get your guitar. This guy's training. How long did you take lessons
It was
for?
maybe like 3 weeks.
So you paid him 60 whole bucks.
Yeah.
Not a wealth of knowledge coming from 60 bucks, I don't feel.
No, and then he, I think it was for my birthday or something. My mom bought this guitar off of him, and then at that same time, my dad won like this other type of guitar at an auction.
What?
Neither of the guitars were very good guitars though.
But they're still
But
guitars.
it's still that. And then I eventually went to Dynamite Music and gave them those 2 guitars towards money towards an Epiphone Dot.
Awesome.
And then got that. Mom bought the rest of it for my birthday or something. I don't know. My mom spoils me. So
Are you an only child?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so
for,
you are.
for her, yeah.
Oh, so that's awesome. You do have siblings.
Yeah. I have
Okay.
half brothers.
Okay, how many? Couple? 2?
3.
Oh, that's awesome. Are they younger, older?
They're older.
All older?
Yeah.
So you're the runt of the group,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
you were like
yeah.
the coolest of them because you could play guitar and they can't probably.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
yeah.
absolutely awesome. You're like, fuck you guys because I can play this awesome guitar. Watch me shred. So you go to Dynamite Music. You trade in for your Epiphone Dot. You're ecstatic. Did you have an amp at that time? Did you have any?
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
You did have some amplification. That's cool. So you're jamming more and more and more.
Yeah.
When do you go like, I want to play with other people. Like I really want to make this happen.
Well, the interesting thing about that, I'm going to have to this is like maybe at the end of 2013.
Okay, sure. Doing a
that I
little
get that.
rewinding.
So we're going to rewind to maybe spring of 2013. Brett's birthday, actually, February 4th.
Okay, cool.
Because
Hey, it's coming up.
Then he got a drum set for his birthday. Pretty much like a month after I started playing guitar.
So you guys have like evolved as musicians together.
Yeah.
That's a really beautiful thing I didn't know. That's really awesome. So you guys immediately, you get the Epiphone Dot. He's got his drum kit. 1 and 1 make 2, and 2 and 1 make 3, and then it was there. You know,
Yeah.
it was Destiny and whatnot. So you guys just start jamming on Blink songs, or
No, because we just kind of just played whatever. We didn't learn too many songs.
Okay.
I mean, it was just guitar and drums.
Yeah.
So it's like,
You were just trying to
no
create
matter if
something.
we try to cover something, it's just not going to sound.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we just started playing together, and at that time, I had an amp that my dad got me for Christmas that was like it had a bunch of presets on it.
Okay.
So we'd always mess with that and just like get weird effects out of my guitar, play
Listen to
music.
this awesome sound. Wah, wah, wah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of winter still, but we'd just go in his garage and jam and then go back inside and warm up and then
Go back
and jam. And it was just like this new thing to us that we just kept doing.
Oh, man, and you were just in it at that point,
Yeah.
in the thick of it. So how long do you guys just jam, the two of you, before... I mean, there's got to be obviously more pieces to this
Yeah.
puzzle. I feel like it's going to slowly evolve until we get to the finale of where you are now, and we'll work through that. But is there any moment that you and Brett are jamming where you look at each other and you're just like, one of us needs to sing, or did you guys not look at that right away?
I kind of looked at it
Okay.
because I was kind of like, I want to sing.
Yeah, calling back to Greece. You were like,
Yeah.
let me do that. I can do that.
Right.
Did you sing in choir or anything in school?
No.
Did you play an instrument in school? I guess I didn't even
No,
ask that question. So
no.
you just said, fuck school music.
At the school I went to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just did I don't know.
It didn't fit you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I just
totally
kind of like
understand that.
did it at home. So
Awesome.
I don't know. I didn't really try too much in high school.
Yeah.
You know,
It
high school
was-
is kind of high school, but
Well, I think that is well
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
High
it'll,
school is just high school because
Yeah.
you know, everybody's high school journey as a kid is you kind of stumble into what lessons you're meant to learn, and no amount of preparing can change that.
Yeah.
And I feel like high schools nowadays, and I mean this is sadly even more true for your generation, and you're only a few years younger than me, but like the sad truth is that they're teaching less and less and training more and more. Like, here's the answers to this test, but what did you learn? Nothing. I didn't learn anything. I just learned the answer. Like, that's not teaching, and teaching comes through experience and guiding people and stuff. And I feel like, it was hard for me to try in high school because of exactly kind of that, My teachers weren't teaching me. They were just going, here's the book, read the thing, fucking tell me what the answer is. That's not teaching.
Right.
You did not teach me anything. You just handed me a book, and now I have to... Essentially, the thing is, when you're a young kid, like the adult, the teacher, their purpose is not just to give you the answers and the results to the test. Their purpose is to explain to you the whys of everything, so you interpret it correctly. Because I could read something and interpret it one way. You could read the same damn thing and interpret it completely opposite me.
Yeah.
But if there's somebody who's in the middle going, here is how you were to interpret it. That's again, learning. So not trying in high school, man. I totally get that. So what point do you and Brett go, I'm going to sing? Do you guys do that before you get any more instruments? Did you have a PA or anything? Or were you just fucking yelling?
We just... I had this little, it was like a little, I think it was called Dinosaur or something.
Okay.
Amp.
Okay.
But it was like super small. Like pretty small.
Like a 10 water or something.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I bought this cheap mic off Amazon because at that time, it was like maybe my sophomore year or something. I was just buying a bunch of stuff on Amazon.
Awesome. Becoming an Amazon junkie?
Yeah.
We've all been there.
For a semester, I bought this Big Bear coat from Workaholics.
You have I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I've seen it before, of course.
I bought it around that time, so you can see how much money I'm really kind of...
Okay. You're playing with some bacon right
just
now.
Just kind of throwing out.
Okay, I gotcha.
So I buy it, and we try to use it, and at that time, it's my first time really singing. I wasn't practicing at home,
Mm-hmm.
so just like level 1 status, I guess. I don't know.
You were just...
But, nervous, shy, not really exactly in the mic, not really projecting as much as you can because, it's your first time singing, you don't know any better. And then there's this little amp, and then your amp, and then drums, so you can't really hear it.
You're getting drowned out, so then you're like singing louder and louder to the point where, I will say one thing, and I want to know if you developed this during this time. You have a phenomenal yell. There's some song, I don't know if you guys do it anymore, but you had this...
I know what you're talking about.
Fucking roaring ass yell, and I was like, where the fuck does that come from, Jerry? I wasn't expecting that. That like totally catches me off guard when I saw you guys for the first time. So, I mean, and that's how much of an impact it made on me that I'm recalling it now.
Yeah.
So where does that come from? Is it from those moments?
Well, it could be maybe because at the same time, around that time, I was like listening. Now I wasn't really as much as into Blink-182 as I was. Now I was getting into like Nirvana,
Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So there's like at that time. So I'm using like I don't know, power chords and stuff, and
I can definitely see where Kurt Cobain definitely influenced you.
Where Brett, when I would play with Brett, when we would kind of create things, it was kind of like I don't know. It's weird because you just like.
There were no
anything,
rules.
Yeah, anything is just...
You were creating for the sake of creating, not defining we're going to play this style or that style.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note, too, because Brett, and I know him from now, so I don't know the backstory as well as you do, and you're definitely going to be filling us in as we go, I'm sure, because I feel your journeys together are super intertwined here. He's like a super technical jazz drummer now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
He's
that
crazy.
Came out of nowhere.
He's like a machine.
It's ridiculous. It literally intimidates me, and I'm just like, oh man, I can't do that ever.
I don't know any. You can watch any great drummer, but I'll watch it and I'll be like, this is awesome. But if it was Brett, I know he'd have his own style. Just the way he plays and touches the drum set is like,
it's
very
different.
unique.
I absolutely agree with that. Back to your journey. We're going through it. So where are we at now?
So it's starting to get warmer out. Me and Brett are like, we want a bass. We want some bass. We want someone else. So we're trying asking people from school to come.
Jam.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they don't. And then we meet Austin Skeens, who at this point I kind of knew, not too well, but I knew him because I met him like just around Munster the year before, and he always did like this mic was, like in Monsters Inc., the slug lady that moves across.
Yes.
Like, Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would always do a great impression of that, and it just left an impression on me because he's just super funny.
That's hilarious.
So he's like, yeah, I'll jam with you guys. I can't leave my house on weekdays, but I'll jam with you guys on the weekends. And we're just like, fuck.
Wait. Can we get into that? Is that something we can touch
I don't know.
here?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just
there
his-
was never
it's just
any
his
resolve.
rules.
It was just
It was
the
just
rules.
the rules. He just
Man.
because I guess it was great. It was grades first with his family.
Okay, I respect that. I mean, in some parents, you have to take it to the extreme because that's just the way the kid is. I totally get that. Moving on.
So like, he comes out on the weekends and it's a lot of fun. We're just like,
You're vibing
fuck
with each
yeah.
other.
Now it's 3 of us just making whatever, and we did that. And then summer came and just spent the whole summer doing that. We'd have the garage door open, just playing
Letting it
music.
go.
Yeah, just
Fuck yeah.
having like our own little songs, trying out different things, and having fun more than anything, and just like doing that, then going and hanging out, doing that. We
You
were just
guys-
kind of always together because we're just like really good friends, and then we're playing music that we love together. So we're just
You defined the camaraderie of a real band. I had that with my first band. It's different, when you get older to have that, because like when you're kids, you need peers and like-minded individuals, and if you come up together, there's no greater feeling, really, genuinely. And it's like now I'm super thankful because I started my journey in music with Brandon Stone, who now is such a big influence and a part of me in the podcasting world, who really helped to make Journey into Comics Network and everything we have here what it is. So that camaraderie that you're talking about, I totally feel it. You're going everywhere together. You're listening to the same music together. You're absorbing everything together. You're making moments that you to this day cannot forget. And there's those moments where you just look around and you're like, damn, I got some cool fucking people in my life, and I'm really grateful right now. And that's an awesome experience. So you, Austin, Brett, 3-piece. You're starting to, the wheels and everything we're getting there.
yeah.
What happens next? Is there any decision like, you guys know we could totally play a gig, the 3 of us? Did you try that?
I always like wanted to, but we just never really.
Didn't book it.
We didn't. Yeah, like, hey mom, can you drive us to this, gigs, and then like, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah.
it was just like. We didn't know who to talk to. We didn't know what to do. We wanted to play, but we didn't have any.
It's a wild
The only
rec.
access there was Battle of the Bands at school.
Oh.
And I'm gonna rewind to freshman year real quick.
Sure, do it. Please do.
And I see Battle of the Bands for the first time with my friends at the time, and one of the bands on there was called The Censored, and it had lead guitarist Nick Blackstone.
Okay.
And I see him, and he's wailing on the guitar, doing his thing, wah and distortion. And I'm like 15, like,
Holy
I want to do that, I want to be on there. And then they won. And I'm just like, oh my god, dude, that looks so cool. I want to do that. And I'm making music, so it's like, should be cool. And so sophomore year we didn't do it. We went there, and it was just like the same like feeling, like I want to do that. Then junior year comes, and I don't know. Junior year was junior year, and I started playing with other musicians from school.
Just randomly?
It was because like I'm not gonna get into this story, but I'm just gonna say I got suspended at school.
Okay.
For a very dumb reason.
Okay, sure.
But when I did that, I don't know. It was just in like a fit of rage. Me and Brett got into a little like tiny argument that meant nothing really. And then we were just like, I was just like, I don't want to play music. And he was like, fine. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. It was really kind of like, it's just kind of funny.
High school stuff.
Yeah.
When you look back at it.
It was just really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why but it was kind of funny. But, so I started playing with other musicians at school, or trying to like play with bands.
Create something.
Yeah. And, I do with someone who is part of the marching band, this drummer, and then this guy who played bass, who eventually played bass for Belladonna for about 2 months.
Oh,
Brandon.
Cass?
Brandon.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I know.
His
Brandon.
name's School Rock.
Okay.
In Neil's story, he mentions him.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I gotcha.
So-
I gotcha.
We get together, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna sing, and so I sing, and it's bad. The singing was bad. It is bad back then.
Okay.
It was bad, rough, but I was like, hey, someone's got to do it. So
You do it until you're good, right?
yes,
You're not wrong.
that's exactly. Do it till you're good. So Battle of the Bands comes up, and there's tryouts. You have to try out for Battle of the Bands. Only 5 bands max can get on. They play if you scored the most at tryouts, you play last. If you scored the least, you play first.
Whoa.
So it's like, okay. Because I'm studying Battle of the Bands. I'm looking at the other bands, little videos on YouTube. I'm really in on this,
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
You're coming in with strategy at this point.
Yeah. So I'm really hyping this up. I go up there to try out. It's a 3-piece. At the time we were called Throwback Thursday because I guess pop punk band names kind of.
I like it.
I guess
It's not
I don't
wrong.
know. We weren't really. I don't know. It was just I don't know. Went up there, covered an Arctic Monkey song
Sure.
and a White Stripes song.
Cool.
I'm singing both.
Sure.
We get up there. We do our thing. I'm like, cool. All the other bands go. I'm like, cool. Wait till Monday for the results. I'm super excited. I'm like, oh, it's going to be so cool. I look. We scored last. And I'm just like, okay.
But you made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But only 5 bands tried out, so it was like.
Oh, well, okay. It doesn't matter. Doesn't
But
matter.
I was like, okay, whatever. I can't sing very well. I'll get this girl Sierra, who's dating Nick Blackstone,
Okay.
to sing. I'm
Sure.
like, okay, cool. So I'm like, we got this. But then there was also dealing with there was like a curse for every Battle of the Bands band that played first, that opened. They just had technical difficulties. Like all the bands that I saw.
Every time.
It happened 2 years in a row. So I'm like, okay, that's it. So I got to prepare for it.
So now you're really preparing and trying to get yourself ready for going on the stage. How does it go?
It goes. It's very funny.
Okay, it's
So-
funny. Okay, sure.
We get up there, and my amp, after we sound checked too, because we made sure to sound check, my amp wasn't turning on. So I'm just like, okay,
No.
okay.
Oh no.
And then we're starting to mess with it. It takes a minute. And I'm just think about the time because you have 25 minutes. And I would go home and I would listen to the songs in a little playlist and time them to make sure that every song would fit well.
Hell
So I'm just
yeah, you did.
super honest. I'm so hyped about this. So it starts working. But then I was when it wasn't working, I don't know why. I started turning the knobs. I don't know why. Because it
Oh,
doesn't
no,
make
so
sense.
you changed your
so I'm
sound.
I'm louder.
Oh no.
So it's okay, we play the first song. And my guitar is also out of tune. Even though I double checked it to make sure it was tuned, I was super hyped about it. I guess it just went out of tune. I don't know. But
The curse of the first band.
that's right.
It's happening.
So my guitar is out of tune.
You're
I'm
too
super
loud.
loud. Finished the first song. A couple of friends in the crowd were turn down. So I'm like, okay, turn down. And then we're playing the rest of the songs. And then I borrowed Kes.
Okay, yeah.
I borrowed his guitar
Okay.
to use for "Come As You Are" by Nirvana.
I love that song. Absolutely.
Because I bought it was a phaser or flanger or something.
Yeah.
One of those pedals.
It's the flanger effect.
Yeah, I bought that effect specifically so I can use it.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And then, yeah, Kes is a lot taller than me.
Uh-oh.
So the guitar's down here.
Oh my
you know?
gosh. Was it difficult to play?
It wasn't too bad until the strap fell off. So I'm just fuck. I'm okay, I go to sit down. I got this. I'm it's cool. I got this. I got this. I got this.
Was that the finale song?
No.
Okay.
The finale song is even better.
Okay.
So we're going to do Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin.
Awesome song.
And we're going to have this guy, Matt Travis, guest sing on it. Because all the winning bands had a guest thing on it, whether it be an instrument. But this guy was super popular at school, and he was a really good singer. So I'm like,
Got it.
Get him in. And he was a really good singer. So we're singing. He's singing. And then there's that part in the song, the solo, where it goes, dun, 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 and you know, it's like, it's guitar. It's the instruments hit two notes
and then
all
it's
together, and then
solo.
it's just isolated guitar.
Yep.
Pure guitar solo. I'm practicing my ass off for this. I'm like so excited. I'm like imagining it all the time.
You're envisioning
I
it
go,
happening for you.
So I go to do this, and I stick my left leg up on the monitor to look cool in front of all the high school girls in the front row, and the spotlight shines on me. They hear it, boom, boom. I play. There's no sound coming out of my amp.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing. And I'm just like, okay.
Oh man,
I see how it is. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. And then I'm kind of like trying to see what's going on. I just tell them I tell the bandmates in the band, and I'm just like, just
keep it going.
Just go. You know, I'll figure it out. They go back into the verse. Vocals come back in. My guitar pops back in. Bad wire, probably, of course, you know.
Okay.
That was probably the source of like
all the problems.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, cool. So I just like told them like during the song while we were playing it, just like, hey, do that again at the
Refrain.
end. Yeah.
Refrain.
Do that again
Refrain.
at the end. So I do it, and yeah.
It works.
Yeah. So I did that, but of course, you know, I'm not super technical. I'm not Jimmy Page.
But you're getting there.
But you know, I'm trying.
Okay.
So it's yeah. Then that Battle of the Band finishes.
How did you feel after seeing the other performers perform after you guys played?
Fine. After I got off, this person I was friends with like ran backstage. I feel like she knew that like that was bad, because it was bad, and I think she knew like that was bad. So she like ran up. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I was just like, "I'm fine. Like, that was awesome. That was great.
Yeah.
I had a great time. You know, despite like
all the difficulties."
Yeah, I was
totally.
still having fun. And,
Absolutely, that's the point.
Super excited, and I didn't really care after who won or anything, and I was just like whatever. And then after that, because I was still hanging out with Austin, and then me and Brett, like right before the Battle of the Bands, we started hanging out again.
Repaired it,
and then I was kind of like, okay, I played with other musicians, and I miss you more than like anything, because like
there was a camaraderie there. You guys had something that was very real and tangible. And when you guys, I guess I didn't even ask this question. Austin's bass playing, when he started with you guys, was he like already pretty advanced to what he was doing, or was he just right in the same boat?
Pretty new with us.
So he was
actually
green with you guys.
Yeah, we were all on the same level.
That is so legitimately just incredible to me that you guys have like this core three thing that's really special that has stuck around. So on the other side of the Battle of the Bands, you've repaired your friendship with Brett.
Yeah.
You know, Austin and you are still hanging out. You make the decision, like, we're playing music again. Then what happens? Like, do you guys immediately get down to jamming within a couple days, or?
Well, the problem was that Austin still wasn't allowed out on weekdays.
Oh, shit.
So we're like constantly, we want to practice a lot, but I want to like form a band now. Now I want to call ourselves a band. I want to start playing.
Figure out a band name.
Yeah.
Totally.
So the band name came from art class. Our teacher was like assigning. She was like, okay, this week you got to go home and you got to look up a flower, find a flower, and you got to draw it. And she was like, here's this drawing, and it was of the belladonna flower.
Oh,
she was
cool.
explaining what it was. I look it up. It's like you eat it, you hallucinate, and then most times, well, actually all times end up in the hospital.
Wow.
Because it's very dangerous. I would never do, because like,
wow, that's terrifying.
Yeah, but in like Italian it meant beautiful woman, and like, so you know, it has like this thing,
Multiple meanings.
and so I'm like, belladonna, cool. I make an Instagram account, just like, it's official.
It's official. It's for real.
Yeah. So we start, like, at that time I just had, like, songs that I wrote at home on my guitar, just like 3 different chords and kind of pop punky inspired.
Sure.
You can
Yeah,
say.
you're calling back to the Blink.
Little
that inspired
alternative
you.
inspired too, you know.
Sure, the Nirvana, obviously.
Yeah. And so it's kind of doing that, and then Brett was always listening to, like, the cool ones, like Smashing Pumpkins, Alice in Chains, stuff like that. And so he would show me that too, and I'm just like,
awesome.
So we're, like, getting into this music, and at this time, I'm still friends with Kes from, like, letting me borrow the guitar.
Yeah.
So we would jam together, and we would start hanging out, and he was also friends with Austin. So it was like,
it just works.
Yeah.
Everything's fitting
we're like,
together.
Cool. And then we wanted, like, we wanted more. I don't know. We didn't even have a bass player really at this point. Well, actually, Kes stood in, and he was like, okay, I'll play bass for you guys. So he started playing bass with us, and then we were like, okay, maybe something else. So then through the power of Facebook, I called out to Nick Blackstone. I'm like, hey, want to jam? We jammed to my songs. He comes up with really cool stuff right away that felt like it just fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
Like a lead melody over this chord progression I had and stuff like that. And it's like, cool. So I'm like, this
Now we're
cool.
cooking
and
with
then
fire.
He comes to practice, and Brett's like, Nick's good, and he says we're really good. So this is probably really good.
Yeah.
So then it's the 4 of us now, if I'm counting right. If I can
Okay,
still
sure.
count.
Brett,
Me,
Austin.
Brett,
No, wait.
Kes.
No. Kes, yeah.
Nick, 5. It's me. I don't know why I can't count today. I'm always one off.
I don't know what's up with that. That's weird.
5. So we start playing shows. We start playing shows through Darlene.
Okay, yeah.
We start playing at Royal Skate Shop, like Riley's Roadhouse, the Bunker and Stager, just like these small venues. And they're kind of like, you know, we get this gig, we have these tickets we got to print out, we got to sell them to everyone at school, try to get people to come, and then give them money, their half to the promoter, our half to us. And it was just, I feel like it felt right for where we were as a band.
Yeah.
With our sound and our level, we had these songs, we were writing these songs. That was, like, eventually formed the first Belladonna album that's, like, kind of non-existent, but in a file.
Damn, I want to
You
hear
know,
that sometime. Man.
It's a good one.
Okay, I want to get a hold of that. I'm just saying.
So we're starting to play more, and we're getting into it, and then we start having, like, we start trying out different bassists, and then after Battle the next year, we had Brandon, School of Rock, play bass for us.
Belladonna played Battle?
Yeah, junior for our senior, me and Brett's senior year.
Okay, how'd it go?
I mean, it went pretty good. We played an original,
Ooh.
and then which was like most bands always did covers, so it was like, whoa.
They did an original.
Yeah,
thing.
like, wow.
You guys didn't play first, obviously.
No,
That's
we
great.
played second to last.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
And so it was. I don't know. It was pretty good. We didn't win, but I was like, whatever.
It felt better than where the first one ended.
Yeah, there was progress.
That's the most important step.
So then, Brandon joins the band, and then whenever he wouldn't be able to, because he was very busy, whenever he couldn't play a show, Austin would stand in for it. So I was like, cool. And then I booked like a show every weekend in like a month.
Okay, cool.
And he kind of didn't have time for it, so he was like, I can't, I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. I can't do it. I'm just like, okay,
of course.
okay, Austin, it's summer.
We need you.
You're
our only hope.
So we're going to do that. And then like there was always that musical connection between Austin and us that was different than anybody else. So it was always still a great time playing with Austin.
Absolutely.
Like we always still jammed with Austin, just not like Belladonna songs.
At the time, you guys were just jamming to create and whatnot.
Yeah. So, we're doing that thing. And at this time, Nick wants Neil into the band. Because he's like keyboardist, and Neil really likes jam bands, and I'm really into like Grateful Dead, and so is Neil's. So is Austin. So like let's like kind of, you know,
pull it together.
So we're like, all right, cool. And then first of the 4 shows comes. Nick wasn't able to do it for some reason. So we're like, okay, let's just do like a set at Royal that's like gonna be extended because of course a band drops.
Yeah,
of course.
Or doesn't show up at all.
Right.
We did a battle of the bands there, and it was like a 7-band show, and only 4 bands showed up. I'm like, what the?
Right. It's just kind of like, oh, come on, man. Like, come play music.
Yeah, that's all I want.
So, excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about that.
We improv it because Neil, when we played with Neil, it was also it was like a connection as well. And we started hanging out with Neil more. And Neil became a good friend of ours. So it was like the connection was building now just with a keyboard. And so we're improvising the whole thing. And I don't know why I wore my bear coat. And it was still warm out, though. So I was like really hot.
Yes, it was.
But I did it anyways. So then after that, the next week, Nick comes back. We play at another show. It was our first outside show, and it was storming. And we were under a little thing.
Okay, so you have a canopy over you. You're all right.
Yeah.
But it's still storming.
Yes. And then the following week, I think it was there was something else in there. I can't remember. But we ended up, the last show was Big Shots. And it was your guys' first show.
Ah, yes.
And after that show, I was like, yeah, this is the lineup. You know, it's
solidified in that moment.
Everybody was very happy with.
Man, you guys played
everything.
so great that night. It was my first time seeing you guys. You know, obviously it was my first time like really out in the scene. Overall, a really bizarre night. I don't think you guys were there when all the like shit really hit the fan at the start of the night, but like we were the first or second band there. I think Get By was the first band there, and then the Atari showed up, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are playing, and then you guys, and then we play, cool." And then we were like, "No, there are 5 more bands playing," and they were like, "What the fuck? This is not cool." And I was sitting there going, "I said we'd open, which means if they're gonna cut bands down, we're getting cut." And I was like panicked, like we're not gonna even play this show. And then like everything kind of worked itself out. You know, we played a decent show. It hasn't been our best show ever, but it was our first outing and it was fun. But your guys' set was so memorable. You did some cool originals. You did a couple covers. I can't remember. I
know we did Franklin's Tower by Grateful Dead. I never really like.
Yeah, but didn't you guys also do like a Black Keys cover or Arctic Monkeys or somebody?
I think. At some point, I don't know if it was there, but we did do a cover of a Little Black Submarine. But I don't know if we were doing it.
I think you did.
I don't know if we ever did it. Did we do it with Neil?
I feel like that because that was at his first show. Because I remarked on that. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Because I don't know. Maybe things seemed a little more Black Keysy because there were keys.
True.
At that time.
That was an interesting show. I want to mention that, that night was super memorable for a number of reasons. Opening for the Ataris is obviously cool. Having the moment where Neil, who is a friend of ours, is in this band and like we connect with you guys. You guys are awesome. The next time we saw you guys play was at Royal Skate. Because like we played Royal, you guys came out, and then you guys played Royal and then we came out.
Yeah.
And that was the Didgeridoo show, the first time it came out. Yeah. And that was amazing. You guys rocked the fucking house. It was so fun to watch. You guys I still have pictures on my phone from that night. So I want to kind of get into that now because, we had that moment there, which was kind of the start of the show where we were talking about this iteration of Belladonna and how we got here. But things have progressed totally down different paths now where we're like, almost 2 years removed from that show. So let's get into that. What happens on the other side of the journey once you solidify this is the lineup, like this is what we're doing?
Well, at that point, we now that Neil was a part of the band, also senior year, we recorded an album in Chicago. Awesome. It was like $25 an hour. We saved up some money, moved all of our equipment down then took it back, then moved it, back and forth, and we're recording these songs that we have written in like the past year. And that summer we released an album. We had an album release show at Royal.
Awesome.
That was a lot of fun. And but it just like wasn't, we released it, but we were just like, I don't know. We just like decided like we should play new things now. Neil is now in the band, and like maybe just now Austin's in the band too. So like
that's
at
an
this
old
point,
phase
like,
of the band.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, now let's like all like
Open a new chapter.
yeah, right, whatever. But we still kept a couple songs that we really liked. I think it was 2, and one of them we'll get to in a little bit.
Sure.
And I know you'll, because you love it.
But it's the Scream
yeah,
song. Great.
Yeah. So we released them. The album wasn't anything great. I mean, it's like,
Well, but you're proud of it because it's your first album.
yeah, it was our first album. But looking back on it, it's just kind of like a baby version of us now and what's to come, I guess. Because like, I don't know, we always feel like we're constantly like shedding skin.
And as a creator, don't let me speak for you here, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you as a creator, when you do the first album, it's one thing because you like locked ideas in place and said, these are the songs, that's it. And then after that moment, I feel like watching you guys perform and how you guys play off each other now, it's definitely not that at all. The songs are always evolving. They're always changing. And you guys might jam a show live and find something that fits so fucking perfectly. You're going to do it every time now, but you didn't have it the first 12 times you played the song live. And it's always this like, the piece is never done until it's done. And you don't know when it's going to be done, you know? You're always cooking it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
So at this time, I was also starting my first year at South Suburban.
Cool.
So I was like, okay, community college, let's see how it goes. Didn't really like high school. Let's see how it goes. And I took one of the classes was English, and I feel like it was starting to help my lyrics. Because my lyrics weren't very strong in that first album.
Okay.
There was a song called I Like You.
Okay.
Most of the words were I like you. I don't know.
Okay.
It was
hey,
but
it's pop punk.
It's whatever. It's whatever.
That's
Pop
how-
punk. The lyrics can be silly.
Yeah.
It's the rules. And
I love that.
so I'm like starting to write more of this when I got a journal, and I started like writing a little bit, and I was kind of like, all right, cool. And I was like, these lyrics seem really cool. And then I was taking like a fundamentals of music class, and then like an ear training class. And I was doing all right. I wasn't really prioritizing school as much as like I eventually did.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of just like, I'm out of high school. I want to do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay up late. I want to, do whatever.
Yeah.
So it's that. And then, so my grades are like, they're like, okay. But then I also took speech. So like, it helped me talk to crowds more.
Absolutely.
I was like, because that's kind of, address them, whatever.
Did you ever have anxiety performing? We didn't really get into that too much.
I would always get kind of maybe a little scared before I went on, but I always just kind of did it.
Once you're in it,
maybe
you're in it.
I don't think maybe I didn't look or sound too confident, but I kind of just did it because I was like, it just felt right.
Good, hell yeah.
So there's that. It just feels right. So I just go up there and do it, and I'm never too nervous because it's just kind of like,
it doesn't
it's our
hit
show.
you like
it's our
that.
show,
Exactly. It's your moment to do what you've been working really hard to do.
Yeah.
So you're taking English classes. It's helping evolve your lyrics. It's helping you to be able to talk to people better. So you're being more vocal in front of crowds. What else is coming from you doing this college stuff?
Well, that was about it for college. It was just I would do my homework and I would get good grades in some classes. I would get C's in others, but I passed all my classes, so I was like, cool. In this time, Belladonna is also like playing around still at like Royal and stuff like that, just to kind of like reestablish ourselves, maybe.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Still play more, here we are, we're better now.
Don't forget about us.
And, right. And, then we're just doing our thing. Winter comes, and Nick's working a lot. we're not doing too much other than like
Trying to write songs.
I'm just like stacking fruits and veggies for his money, and then that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So then we would get together and we could just get in Neil's basement and turn on really cool lights and just jam.
Sweet.
Record them on our phones or something, and just improv. Just full on improv.
So this is you guys, no Nick, just trying to still create because you don't want to get cold on all this.
Yeah.
You don't want to let it rest when you're right in the height of creating whatever you're creating.
Yeah. And through this whole process, ever since we picked up our instruments, we're constantly progressing, learning.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, and so we're just like, you know, let's do something more. And I'm doing more things on guitar. I'm not just playing some chords or doing some rhythm thing.
Yeah.
And so we're having fun. And then we just weren't writing a lot of songs as a full band together. Nick could only meet up like 1 day a week. So it's just kind of like, all right.
Everybody else can do like 3 or 4 days. And you're like, come on, man. We just need this time if we were all cooking together.
And then like, even on his end, he would request off other days to try to have practice. But it was always like,
just never.
All the scheduling between five musicians or six musicians. I almost did it again. 6 musicians was a little hard.
Yeah, I that's definitely something that you struggle with. Learning how to just balance schedules throughout everything. So where does it go? Because I mean, now there's like a lineup change coming. I feel.
Yeah.
And you're noticing Nick is increasingly less able, I guess is the way to say that, to perform and work with you guys?
Yeah. And it was like, because he was also part of another band, Black Hand, and he was working a lot because he works a lot because he has to take care of himself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
And where he is, he does that because that's what he has to do.
Yep.
You know, he's working a lot. And then we're still playing around, and we're kind of slowly writing some new stuff. And there's that, you know, we have some songs where just 2 chords for a while, and then really simple songs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the way that I feel like we approached these really simple songs and the way we were able to play these 2 chords over and over differently after so long.
Totally.
Kind of was the cool part about us, I think. And then, but we also played the same set for like a really long time. And we would always end the set with Fubar.
That's the screamy one?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So that Royal show where you guys came was the first time we did that. Neil brought out the didgeridoo.
Mm-hmm.
Holds it.
Totally.
And then it's just he hypes it up, and then we just go into that riff Nick made. And then I used to just talk, like during first Belladonna phase.
Uh-huh.
I would just talk about whatever.
Just
and it was
riff right then.
Yeah, but it was just kind of like that. It just eventually I'm just like, I don't like doing that. So I wrote lyrics during a Red Hot Chili Peppers phase, and so I'm rapping.
Okay.
Kind of rapping, and then the chorus comes, and I just scream at the top of my lungs in front of everybody and stuff. And sometimes I go out to them and let them scream, and it was just really fun because I feel like the song had just so much energy.
It
you know,
does.
that's why I think it was because people will say now, like, do you do that screaming song? And we're like, no. But it's like I can really see why that was a really fun song.
Man, that song is one that I'm guessing because Nick took part in when he departs from the band.
Well, yeah, he because he had that lead riff, and it was just like I didn't want to add another guitar.
Totally.
You know, you got to be careful with.
Don't want to muddy the waters.
Yeah, and when we would play a lot of stuff together, new stuff maybe, it would just sound muddy. There's 5.
Too much going on.
It's 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 or 6. We'll figure that out someday, folks.
All right.
We don't know how many members of Belladonna there are. I think the problem is when I count, for some reason, Austin and Kess are 2 separate people who might have played the same instrument, but I feel like they're both in the band.
And because during this whole time, Kess is constantly coming to all these shows with us and hanging out with us.
He was like your manager
of
it for a time, or is
your manager?
I mean,
he doesn't. he's just someone that contributes to the band
Sweet.
a lot,
That's great.
and with us because we're good friends with him, and he's just always helping us
Good,
out.
good to have a team
So it's
player
like,
like
yeah.
that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have this show in Wisconsin that we're looking forward to,
Sweet.
and Nick's looking forward to it. We're gonna camp there. It's gonna be fun, and then we're still kind of at this. We're kind of at a hard time because we can't practice too much, and when we do, we kind of just rehearse, and
Feels stale.
yeah. And then in school, I'm in now Music Theory 1, ear training 2. I just joined choir at school. I'm doing now started my first semester of classical guitar lessons, you know.
Wow.
So you got to sit all like fancy and stuff.
Amazing.
So it's like getting into that. And I took like 7 classes. So it's kind of like it was a lot. And then I was trying to work. So then it's just like all this stress. So I barely make it out of the semester alive. Failed the theory and then the ear training. I was actually like one of the last 2 students to just be in ear training to try the final. And it was just like, because there were these people, and your teachers want you to absolutely engulf your whole entire life into music.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's like, they're saying like, if you want to get these good grades, you have to do it. He's saying, there's no shortcut to becoming a great musician. You need to
Hard work.
Yeah.
The end.
And you have people who, some have kids, some have really busy schedules. At that time, I mean, I failed, and I just had work in Belladonna, and so I was trying very hard, so it caused me to just try to avoid any technology possible. So while my dad was in Arizona, I moved to I didn't get all my stuff and move, but I would go over there and stay at his house for it was the last 2 weeks of the semester, just to because there was no internet or cable there.
Correct.
Because they were gone.
You could just disconnect.
Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta try to get good grades. So I do all right with the semester. So then summer comes, and Nick's also at this point he made the decision to start a family with Sierra.
Okay, sweet.
So it's like, okay, he's gonna have a kid, and then we don't want him to try to balance a kid, a job to support that,
and a band.
Also 2 bands. So we're just So
and
after the
Blackhand, wait, is that's his other band, right?
Yeah.
Blackhand. That he had that before he joined Belladonna, right?
They actually formed it was maybe a month or 2 after he joined Belladonna.
Wow.
So it's kind of
pretty
like
close.
it's that they have their own journey as well.
Totally.
You know?
Absolutely.
So we decided as a band, okay, maybe this Wisconsin show is it would be the best show to end on.
Yeah.
How else would we want to end with Nick other than going over to Wisconsin and camping out in this field
moment
with all these bands and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, cool. We came back, we had a band meeting, and it felt very, very perfect in a way. Just it could not have gone any better.
It was just like a beautiful symmetry.
It was
to
literally
the end.
beautiful because for some reason, some nature documentary on Neil's TV was playing, and it was playing this really beautiful music and showing nature, and we're just talking to Nick and saying how these 2 years it was great. It was a great experience, but
time to
it's the best to do this.
Absolutely. Start a new journey.
Go different ways.
He probably felt a little bit relieved. From
Yeah,
that,
he was.
Right?
He said,
I mean, he
was kind of thankful that we weren't
trying to pressure him why
Yeah.
aren't you giving and committing to us? You
Yeah.
guys understood what he was doing and what he was going through.
Yeah.
And his journey he's in the process of taking, and you said, look, we don't it will be sad to not have you in this band. However, it will be beneficial to you more than anything else to not be in this band, and that's what's most important.
Yeah.
Is you as a person. So that's very big of you guys as musicians. It's hard to I separate. That's actually Brando and I, when he left the band, the final iteration of our band, that was a very similar thing. He was struggling to balance it. He was driving 2 hours for practice, 1 hour one way and 1 hour back, right? So he was putting in a lot of effort and you know, in the process of him trying to start a family and everything. So we had to, I made a phone call, and Brandon was like, oh, God, I'm so relieved you told me this, because it was really starting to stress me out, having to find time for practice and all these other things. I said, look, man, like, it's just life. You know, you can start a new journey. There are guitar players out there. That's the world we live in. You know, everyone's trying to create something and do something beautiful and different. So you guys part in this beautiful moment. How did the show itself go? Amazing?
It was, we got there, and there was, like, not too many people there when we first got there, but it's like, okay, well, we thought we were going to play, like, 8 or something, but instead they're telling us we're going to play at, like, 4 o'clock.
Oh, shit.
So we're like, okay. And we're playing in, like, this little tiny tent that they made us play in. And we're just like, can we just play outside? So we're just doing that. And then we would include improv jams with Nick, though, live.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like, we wouldn't go as far out there as we normally would.
You were kind of pulling the reins a little bit.
Yeah, but still being able to, like, have a fun improv thing.
Totally.
And but, you know, when you're playing music and then the whole band starts to, they gain energy and there's like a swell and it's going to, you know.
It's either going to pop off or it's going
to. Or it's going to like ride, you know.
Yeah.
So we're starting to build it up. And then a guy in an RV plugged his RV in, and right when we were at like, right at the peak, it just cut. And we're just like, come on. You know, we were just like, that was so perfect.
It killed your set in the middle of the swell.
Yeah.
And that was it? You guys just off stage
called it? Oh, no, they unplugged in. All of our power came back on, and we're like, okay.
Back to it.
Yeah.
Right. You know, like, get into it again. That's excellent.
And then it was a good weekend. It was a good, like, we were in Wisconsin.
And you guys got to still bond with Nick and have this moment.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Camp out, and it was beautiful out.
That's awesome.
It was great. It was an amazing time.
So moving forward now, have you guys been doing a lot of shows, or is this more a time for writing and rebuilding?
It's kind of both in a way,
okay.
I guess.
Sure.
So, like, we get back, and it's summer. I'm done with school.
This would have been 2017 summer?
Yes, this is 2017.
Sure.
Now.
Catching up to the real time.
Yeah. We're all out of high school now, except for Neil, but Austin just graduated. And we are like, okay, well, let's see what we're going to do. We have all these songs again, and we keep one called No Mas. And we keep that one. And we're just like, okay, here's our song. Now let's start writing.
Yeah.
You know, we come up with songs kind of pretty fast, and it's like different from any other time.
Yeah.
We've written songs, and we're just like, it's like anything goes. There's any rules. You can go here or there. It's like free game.
Yeah.
Absolutely free game.
Totally.
And Brett came up with this really cool, like, rhythmic pattern. And it was like a start and stop thing.
Uh-huh.
And then as soon as Brett played it, Neil played like an arpeggio that like matched each note. So it was just like they would do this thing, and I'm just looking at it like, holy shit. I'm like, that's so cool. But then I'm thinking, like, what can I possibly play to
amp that to the next level?
To do something.
Totally.
And then Neil was like, why don't you just solo? And at this time, I'm like, I've never really done too many. I only had like one solo during our old Belladonna sets.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like you're a rhythmic soloist, though. You're not one of those like crazy trying to shred a million notes in a second.
I gotta like, well, I kind of try to shred now, but I try to shred in a very rhythmic, and I'm not there yet, but you know,
you're getting there. You're learning.
I want to be able to play fast. I want to get there soon, but so I'm just like, okay, I'll solo, and then I would solo, but I wouldn't use a pick because I was trying to still keep the classical guitar thing going.
Absolutely.
And then kind of spent the summer writing and hanging out and just enjoying summer by just writing and hanging out. So summer's coming to an end, and then over at Blue Top on Indy.
I remember this. I didn't get to go to this show. Sarah and V were there, but I was not.
Yeah. The guy told me, he told us previously, like, you guys ever want to play here, go ahead. So we're like, let's set up a show there, you know, before everybody goes back to college and school and
totally
send the summer off. So it was a great show. We did our thing. We played our new set, and it was a new sound, and it felt new. It felt very, very fun and very flexible, and very just very different, because it wasn't like,
well, the energy
it wasn't
had
old
changed.
Belladonna. It was this new Belladonna where, like, if we weren't able to improv together, we could have messed up a lot. But like we did, like, Come Together by the Beatles, and we just jammed out a middle section a lot and, like, kind of changed, and we try to change it with the dynamics,
Sweet.
with you know, all that stuff, and who's gonna solo, who's gonna do what, and then we have our new songs. Like, there was like No Mas, Delirium, Moon Bomb. Moon Bomb involves a didgeridoo, so I think you'll like it.
Well, you need to pick one of those songs to send to me. We're going to have it at the end of the episode, I think. That would be a really cool way to close the show, is some new Belladonna, you know, give our listeners something different. And also, it's really cool because you guys have been recording your stuff live.
Yeah.
Which is really special because you guys are a jam band. You create stuff live different every time. We were talking about that. So that's got to be a really cool experience, too, to be like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, and it's able to, like, we'll catch, like, a couple of videos that someone took on Snapchat, and me and Brett will just, like, study them and, like, you know, look at them, try to pick, you know, because everybody wants to always improve.
Absolutely.
And then, so we're, at this point, we just play this show, and we have this new sound, and we're like, I think people like it because there were young people there that enjoyed it, and then it was also Blue Top, you know, all these old car guys there.
And they were enjoying it.
They were also really into it. So it's like, okay, cool, we
bridge the gap.
Yeah, there's like old people that like us, and then there's young people that like us. That's pretty cool, you know? So we're kind of excited with that. We're writing new songs. The process is kind of, it's always making progress.
Absolutely.
You know, it's constantly going. We're getting T-shirts. Neil drew these awesome designs.
That is a sick, symmetrical design.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, can we use this? I'm like, dude.
Of course we can.
Look at that.
Duh.
So we got shirts for those, and then we're kind of building.
I don't know if you know this about Neil, but he is like your secret weapon, because he is, you know, even knowing him at a younger age, he has always been like a hustler, as it were. You know, like you want something, I'm going to make it happen. Like, I don't know. I actually don't know what happened to the actual CD, but he like made CDs when he was younger, and I had like his original demo somewhere, and he did all the artwork and everything. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Sarah did the cover, but he did all like the graphic design work and stuff. And I was like, man, you're like 14 years old. What the fuck? You know? So I'm sure having him be able to create on that level now and have the foresight to go, now's the time to get shirts, now's the time we need to do this, and now's the time we need to go here. It takes a little bit of a weight off of your shoulders. Yeah. Because you were doing that, I'm thinking.
Yeah, when Neil wasn't in the band, I was kind of the one. Well, Nick would too, but I would kind of do it a lot and try to order the stuff. And then when Neil came along, he has a lot of ideas. He wants to get like pins and stuff like that. And we're, because when we get paid, now the thing about that show and another show we played at my coworker's party a few weeks earlier was that we got paid for the first time.
Sweet.
Like $50 for one and like 100 and something for the other.
Feels
we're
good.
We're just like, okay, put it in
the band fund.
Yes. Neil has a little box in his room it's locked and he has a key, and it's our money because
Hell yeah.
we want to build this now. And so I go back to school and I retake the class I took the previous year.
The theory?
No, not theory. The
Ear
level
training?
before that. Ear training and music fundamentals.
Gotcha.
Which I got season. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to retake that. I'm going to go from a minor lesson of classical, which is a half-hour a week, to major, an hour a week. Now I'm also going to take minor classical vocals.
Awesome.
So I'm learning how to classically sing half-hour a week. And then English class and jazz band. And I think that was it.
You're definitely a student of the game. You want to continuously improve and level up. So you're like, half-hour classical guitar, not enough. Let's double that.
Yeah.
You know, and now I want to work on my vocal training even more, which has definitely helped you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's got to be worlds different now that you know what you're doing with your voice versus where you started with Belladonna, where you were. I mean, you were still passionate about it. You just didn't know how to use your.
Yeah, I didn't have the knowledge of the. I could,
I feel like knowledge for you unlocks everything.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, yeah, oh yeah, totally. I get
Right.
that now, and like
Yeah.
you can progress. That's so great. So you guys are working on an album now, as you said. You're playing more shows and stuff. You said you have a show coming up, or by the time this is out, I think the show has just happened yesterday. You play Thursday, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we're playing
That's the 11th.
Thursday at Backstage.
So you have just played Thursday at Backstage. That's time travel.
No,
for
wait, no,
you.
we're about to play it this Thursday.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
But time travel,
Oh,
because this
okay,
is
yeah.
Friday when this is coming
all right,
out.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
played
I
last
played
night.
there. I played there last night.
It was a
The
great show.
The show was great.
Yes. I love how we get to predict how great the show went. It was phenomenal. That one part you wanted to nail, perfect. It was perfect. So now here's the part where I always open up the floor. We've kind of gotten to the point in the story where now I'm going to say if there's anything we missed in this first portion of your story, now's the time to bring it up. And if there's not really anything left to go on today, we can wrap it. It's not, it's totally understandable. But I always give my guests an opportunity if I missed an important, prominent moment and the story didn't take us to use this moment now to talk about it.
I guess I'll just clean up the end of where we're at. Like
Sure.
we just write songs now. No rules. Each song is written differently. We are now our shows are kind of now, instead of maybe they used to feel like sets, now they're like performances and unique performances, because we have our improv parts, we have our written parts, and then
Everything in between.
yeah, and then we're recording our shows now with a little recorder that we're gonna release to you.
Sweet.
And we're just gonna write a lot of songs and keep writing and keep learning, and then we want to play in Chicago and be able to play a lot of shows in Chicago with a different set each show.
That's the way to do it, man, for sure.
I'm very happy with what's going on right now.
That's good. I think you guys have had a great amount of success as far as, playing different places, getting your names out there, knowing the right places to be at the right times and whatnot. It's cool because one thing I noticed about Belladonna that I actually didn't realize is there's just such a diverse lineup change that happens throughout your history that where you are now, I mean, not to negatively or positively predict the future, but like next year might not be where you are now.
Yeah.
And that's got to be an interesting prospect for you, because that, even though is kind of scary, like right now you found your comfort, everybody's happy and there's this beautiful little bubble, but then it also has to give you a level of almost excitement. Like, well, what if something new comes along? What if you find another member even, or what if somebody has to do, something different? You never know what the journey is going to be. So it's got to be totally just like a ride for you all the time.
Yeah. Well, and now the four of us, me, Brett, Austin, Neil, we've kind of sealed it in fate with a little
Locked
giant
it in.
pinky.
Oh, you did the pinky squares.
Yeah,
I
and
love that.
decided that the four of us for sure, for the next forever, as long as we possibly can. We want to do
That's
New Year's
amazing.
shows every year, and
We need to get a show together this year.
Yeah.
I don't think we played in 2017 any shows together.
I don't think so.
I feel like we didn't. Just trying to like look back at how psychotic 2017 was. No. What? Did you play a Royal show with? No. That was the Sluts. They were They were added last second. They're from Lafayette. They're a strange band. But yeah, man. Well, Jerry, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the Voice of Survival today. Absolutely, man. It's been a great pleasure. It's always awesome to talk to musicians who have fun stories, and I loved the journey through Belladonna, learning how you guys progressed and whatnot. Now is the point where I got to tell people where they can find me. So as always, folks, listen to the Voice of Survival podcast on the Journey into Comics network at journeyintocomics.com or on all the different podcasting platforms, whether it's iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music. We are now on Spotify. Yep, you heard that correct. You can go on Spotify, search Journey into Comics Network. We'll pop up. You can get all 9 of the 10 shows there. You can't get Game Addicts, but go to GameAddicts.com. to get them, or GameAddictsPodcast.com to get them. My fault. Also, check out The Voice of Survival on all the different social media sites, whether it's Facebook at The Voice of Survival Podcast, or Instagram at The Voice of Survival Podcast, or Voice of Survival on Twitter. And I think that's going to do it this week, folks. Jerry, once again, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome. And if that's going to do it for this week, I've been Nate, and this was The Voice of Survival. Later.
Don't be shy to dance. Hello. The time has got me itching my veins, but it's there. Wondering when the next time is round. Paranoid about its claws around me up there. Toss me into a melancholy abyss. I say no lies, but I pour out ready to love. I let this shit don't take it till I break all these words. Get a taste of love before it's real bad here. Starving as I desperately wait for the prayer. I'll kick this box and say the truth right my head. Now it's screaming out loud, man, that get
Yeah.